Hey guys, welcome back. I want to talk to you today about castor oil. It is it comes from the castor, oil plant. It's these little bean-like things they have. That's what it comes from. I'll give you information. Most people know about it. Usually it's health and beauty. Like health, beauty type stuff people will know about it for. But I will go for some benefits. Always read my disclaimer. Talk to your doctor. All that jazz. Yada yada. You know how it goes. So we'll go over beauty uses usually for it. Because it does have antibacterial effects, it is very good at people who have acne or a natural face cleanser. And it doesn't strip away like a lot of the over-counter different type of face cleaners you get that are synthetic. I'll say that. They will strip away the good bacteria also. Castor oil does not, and castor oil will not dry your skin out. A lot of the ones that have it have alcohol and different things in it that will strip away the natural oil we need. And because of that also, it's really good for reducing fine lines and wrinkles. Ladies, you know how we do. And it's just good for that. A lot of good, skincare stuff for that. Also, a lot of people will use it to promote hair growth. You can take some of this and however you wash your hair or do your hair or anything and put this in it, it promotes hair growth on your scalp, eyelashes. People use it for different things. Don't just take this and pour it directly on your hair. You will have a nightmare with it. It'll be a nightmare. I use I'll go through every other month or something, and I do like natural stuff. Most women or old school ways, you'll hear they'll take a raw egg or you'll take something like mayonnaise and you'll do a hair mask. When I do that, I put this in there. It works very well. So those are kind of and another thing also for the beauty side of it is it does help reduce, it will not get rid of, but it will reduce stretch marks and scarring. Because that is a scar, stretch marks where, the collagen broke in your skin and it leaves that type of scarring. It'll help reduce that if you massage that in. Now you can cut it with something like extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil. That's how I do it when I do topical things on most of these. And I'll go through. You can cut it with something like that, but it works well reducing. It will not get rid of that, but it will reduce the appearance of those. So it is a anti-inflammatory, which anti-inflammatory for anything equals anti-pain for, where the inflammation is causing your pain, like arthritis. This works fantastic for arthritis topically. Rubbing it in your joints. You can do it straight like that, and you can do it straight and add heat over top of it, or you can mix it with, again, when I say mix it, when I'm talking about this, you can use different ones. I'm just going to say what I use is either extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil. So you can mix it and cut it, or you can do it straight for, joint pain, arthritis, muscle pain. Works very well for that. Just, rub it into those areas or whatever. Also, it is antifungal and antimicrobial. So it's something good that works for things like ringworm or psoriasis. It works good for that. And also a lot of people have heard before is you can take castor oil, and people who would have like a sebaceous cyst or something like that underneath their skin, is you do a castor oil cover on it. You can take and put it on a little piece of cotton ball. You can put it directly on the cyst area and you cover that, and it'll help draw that out and reduce the inflammation, and it'll help get rid of that. So good for cysts. There is a thing called castor oil packs for women who have, and then there's risk. Of course, do not do these things like what I'm about to talk about if you're pregnant in any stage. Okay, don't do that. But women who would get like ovarian cyst or have really bad menstrual cramps, you can take and put castor oil. You can dilute it with one of the carrier oils I talk about, or do it straight, and you can make a castor oil pack, which people can also do it, and they put the castor oil on something like wool or cotton, and say you would put it on the area if you had ovarian cyst or menstrual cramps, and then they would take and put like cotton, like say an old t-shirt. Let's just use an old t-shirt or something like that over top of that layer. And then they would put like a heating pad, hot water bottle, something like that on it. And castor oil can help with, like if you have ovarian cyst or really bad menstrual cramps. It helps that. The anti-inflammatory and how it works good. So also skin tags, you can take that undiluted skin tags, moles, different things like that, and you can take like a Q-tip and keep putting that on every day. Sometimes you can take like the little circle band-aids, those little tiny ones. If you want, you cover it with that. It helps get rid of skin tags as well. Now, as far as internal, now some people react, and I'm gonna go over, please read my description on this one. I am going to go over some internal things. Some people have bad reactions to internal, like anything you can. And if you've never used this at all on your body, do a skin patch test. I did a video on that a long bit back, several months ago. Always test something new, anything. You may think, oh, this is just, over the counter, no big deal, food, herbs. Skin patch test, little amounts before you put it all over or ingest something and you have a reaction. Internally, it can be used for, people used to use castor oil for like a laxative if they were constipated, or a cleanse if they were about to have surgery or something like that. With that, this is an old thing. I'm not saying do this, don't do this, anything, especially women. I do not recommend women taking it internally, of course, and not in the abdominal pelvic area like I described if you're pregnant. Don't do it internally, because castor oil can induce labor. Because the same stimulant that makes our gut, our intestines cramp down, if they're like, say you're doing a cleanse or for a laxative, that same effect is what can make a woman's uterus contract. So some women back in, I'm not saying do this, okay? And you can read and look this up, okay? Don't be smart. Talk to your OBGYN and stuff like things like that. And always safety first, always. They would, if they were late, they would do castor oil to help it naturally induce labor. Okay, so don't be smart. As far as the laxative thing, you can take like, and there's different ones you can buy. Some, more say internally, and there's warnings for the laxative type thing. Take a tablespoon in warm milk or water. Drink that up. Again, be safe. Another good thing with this is lymphatic. Your lymph nodes, drainage, that whole system. If you have a swollen lymph node or different things like that. Now, there's risk medical stuff. If you had a swollen lymph node, that could mean XYZ. Usually just means your body's fighting off some infection. Just like, when your tonsils, and you'd go to the doctor and they would feel your lymph nodes, tonsils, if they get inflamed and swollen, usually it's doing its job, it's fighting off an infection. But you can, the same as like the ovarian cyst, you can take, say, even like a cotton ball or something, put castor oil on that, cover like, where a lymph node, a swollen lymph node would be, cover that and then put heat on it. And it'll help drain that lymph node that's swollen. It'll help that. Don't ever squeeze lymph nodes or anything like that. That's awful. So also topically you can do for migraines. I'm getting a headache myself this evening because of the weather. But you can take castor oil, you can put it across your forehead or on your temples and give it a little bit. That helps. That helps often for that. Again, the precautions of pregnancy, that is a high precaution. Risk, don't. I just don't. You talk to your doctor about that first. Now, side effects, if you start having these, I would say discontinue use. Orally, if you start having like severe abdominal cramps, really, really bad GI upset, nausea, vomiting, on top of not just, I took this, or a laxative effect because, you needed that. You need to stop using that, if it's really bad. If you have really bad reactions to anything, of course, be smart, seek medical attention, all that. It can lower people's blood pressure if they're having a reaction to it. And of course, there's reactions if somebody had an anaphylactic reaction to anything, you know what to look for. If there's trouble breathing, there's any swelling, in the mouth, on the, face, you're getting hives, stuff like that. You need to look for things. Topically, if it causes a skin irritation, like, I'm very sensitive. I talk about that all the time. I'm very sensitive. So I'll always dilute or take less than what even recommended things are. I'm just very sensitive. It doesn't take as much even recommended for my, size. I just don't. But if you start having inflammation, stinging, whelps, itching, anything where you've applied that, you need to remove it because it has that thick oil thing and it can kind of be hard to get off. Use something like, a Dawn, just something that would break that barrier and kind of help get that off. Swelling, anything like that. Be safe, but it's a really nice thing to have on hand for different things. It's just one of those things I always have in the cabinet. Think about it, and I needed it to help somebody else, and I was like, oh well, let me just go ahead and do a video on that because I take I don't even think about it unless I go to use it. And it's also something good that helps with topically for dried, cracked heels, or like sometimes in the winter. You can get your, especially people who wash their hands. When I was a nurse and I washed my hands constantly, would have eczema at different times. My knuckles and stuff, they would crack because it'd be so dry. That's something else that works really good for that. It's something else I hope helps you guys. Everyone stay well, God bless, and I will see you next time.